Okay, so Kevin, tell me about your DeVillier.
The company has, we have 3 running crews at one time. One of them is just moving crew, which of course we do a lot of work together a lot of times where we do lifting together and stuff, and we also help them on the move sometimes too. And we do a lot of moving homes from any area, new homes, used homes, particularly anything, smaller buildings, very large buildings. And we were featured on a program on Home and Garden.
Is that right?
Hauling House. And
it was called what?
Hauling House. There's several different shows, and we were featured twice on a move from the Washington, Louisiana area to the Arnoldville area, where we made the complete move. They filmed us from start to finish, and it was on there. It was really fun to do.
Now, is that accessible on the internet?
Yeah,
is
sure
it?
Can.
How would people go to see that?
Probably go to Home and Garden first there, or go to Hauling House. Maybe just search that.
Okay.
And then they should bring up that episode. You might want to. I don't know how to look at it. It's by episode number, and I'm sure what the number was. Maybe type in DeVillier move or something like that.
Okay. How do you spell DeVillier?
DeVillier.
Okay. Okay.
And
what was the other one?
What's that?
You said you were featured twice.
It was the same. It was 2 moves.
Oh, I see.
Almost in the same area, 2 separate houses, 2 separate customers. And it was basically the same type move. It was both of them were a couple of older houses. Family bought homes, just moved to another property, and they just filmed us from start to finish.
All right, so that's one of 3 functions that DeVillier does.
Well, and the other 2 is just we're lifting, and we like I said, we're pretty much will go anywhere. We're primarily staying below 14 because that's where most of the lifting is occurring at this time. We've done some work Slidell, New Orleans area, more back to Delcom, Erath, Abbeville area, also on the Lake Charles side, and down south of Lake Charles. We've also lifted Gros Savin, big Buddy Leach's.
You just finished doing that, didn't you?
We lifted that. That's actually on our brochures, and that was a very, very big lift for us. It was very interesting. We used all the equipment we had, all the crews were together. It was fun to do, and it went quicker than most people thought it would go. It went very smooth.
That's what people are saying about what you're doing here. Yeah. We're all amazed.
Thank you.
We're all amazed.
We, of course, safety is number 1. We do that. That's our for the guys, and also for the property. And then from there. And
it looks like y'all are pretty serious about keeping things clean. I've noticed.
Yeah, we try to keep a clean area. It's easier to work in when you do that. So and also people like to come around and look if it's clean, if it's safe. It's okay for people to look.
It's a liability issue as well as a safety. Sure. So, okay, now so we've got the house moving and the house raising. Those are your 2 primary functions. Okay.
Right. And like I said, we work together a lot. A lot of times in the wintertime, the moving, because of the ground, we can't get in and out of places like we want to, so we switch to a lot of the lifting at that point. Then summertime, of course, we'll get back on the moving pretty heavy. And
how many houses would you say you lift separate? Again, I've asked this before, but how many times do you do the separation? Slab separation.
It's hard to say. It's become a mixture of I'd say 50% of them slab separation now. The time of a slab separation as opposed to a house that's already on piers is what you see here today. A lot of concrete work, a lot of foundation work with the existing slab, as opposed you don't have to do that. Once it's lifted, it's all new, so you can just form up as you go.
That's a real advantage of going with the new subfloor, isn't it?
Correct.
Especially from your standpoint, because y'all are turnkey.
Correct.
You can.
It's a good product. It's a strong product. I mean, we really believe in it, and like I said, it's. I ain't gonna say it's the same as a slab, but it's as close to getting the same surface area on the house as a slab.
Now, do most homeowners keep the slab as a huge patio, or?
Most of them do, depending. Now that we're going to these type floors, it allows us to spread the columns out a little further, so we can have the customer use it as patio, storage space, whatever they want to do. Now they can't close it in because
the federal guidelines for flood.
Guidelines only allow you so much that you can close in, depending on the area.
Is screen included in that?
Screening is water can go through that,
So-
as long
so-
as the water is allowed to go through.
So if someone wanted to screen in an area,
be fine.
that would be okay?
Correct. It's just they don't want permanent walls, brick walls, wooden walls, even that. Now, you can have breakaway walls, which
Now, define breakaway wall.
breakaway wall is like it's like a 2x4 studded wall. It depends on how you assure it to the existing concrete. You can put some certain screws that'll go in that on a strong push. It'll break
So no hurricane straps on the
Correct.
breakaway
No,
wall.
it has to be able to,
Yeah.
to be able to come loose. Some people are going to a louvered type wall. It's a 2x4 decking stacked like almost like a shutter. It looks neat. You just can't have a permanent structure underneath. It's got to allow it to be. Then they'll consider the bottom structure.
Okay. All right. Anything I've missed?
We want to talk about the columns again.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to go back to it. Of course, it's customer's choice on what kind of column they're going to use, being the 16, 24 cinder blocks or just a brick. The only difference, the foundation-wise, is going to stay the same. We're still going to put the concrete underneath the columns, but the change will be in the arrangement of the rebar coming up through the concrete. Brick kind of spread out depending on the size of the brick, the size of the column you're going to use, but it doesn't have to be a specific pattern like a 16 by 8 cinder block does because of the closed cells. It's got only 2 cells. My rebar has to run up through the middle of that cell, so the rebar has to be positioned exactly right to allow the rebar to come through the center. A 16 by 16 open cell is not that bad. I just do like 4 inches apart, 4 rebar, 4 inches apart. As long as I'm within that 12-inch inside area, I'm okay. So you don't have to be specific. So customer lets us know what type of column they want, then we'll make that adjustment on the rebar at that point.
Okay. Do most people come in with brick and when it's over?
I'm starting to see a lot more brick now. It's kind of like a catch-on deal. One house sees it, oh, I like that, so they're going to do it. Some people will put cinder blocks and wrap it with brick at that point. Some people will only brick the outside perimeter of the house and leave
That makes
the
a lot of
inside
sense.
just the regular cinder block. We've seen stucco, we've seen many different styles, and it's good because it gives the customer a lot of flexibility in what do they want to use underneath. Plus, it'll go with the house. Some things look better with certain types of houses that are built on the outside. You know? If you're going to plan to put a brick stairwell going to your house, or if you're going to use decking stairs, it just makes a difference on what you're going to do initially.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. I've become a fan of DeVillier in just a few days.